laws which are set to effect in 2023. With the new laws that will take effect in 2023 to further modernize the legal system, strengthen workers' rights, and increase Emirati participation in the private sector, the United Arab Emirates is ready to welcome change. The rules governing non-Muslim marriage, divorce, inheritance, child custody, and office composition will all be affected by the policies. Several new updates, mandatory changes, and laws that will take effect in 2023 have been announced by UAE officials. The government will introduce legislation to further modernize the legal system, strengthen employment rights, and increase Emirati participation in the private sector. Unemployment insurance policy. An insurance policy is a scheme provided by the company to facilitate its employees and provide compensation for a short period so they can meet their needs. Legislation requiring employees in the private and federal sectors to sign up for unemployment insurance has recently been announced by the UAE government. The Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization announced earlier this year that employees would be entitled to 3 months' worth of compensation, which would not exceed 60% of the monthly salary. Employees with a basic salary below 16,000 Emirati dirhams will receive a maximum of 10,000 Emirati dirhams per month in compensation, which will be based on the basic salary. And a monthly scheme of 20,000 Emirati dirhams for employees whose base pay was higher than 16,000 Emirati dirhams. The following bodies shall be exempted from the unemployment insurance policy scheme: proprietors of businesses, domestic workers, investors, individuals who have lost their jobs but have recently been hired by a new employer, individuals under the age of 18. If employees have resigned from their positions or been fired for disciplinary reasons, starting a new job, leaving the country, implementation of corporate tax. It applies to any company that has a profit of at least 375,000 dirhams per year. A new policy stipulates that businesses subject to the UAE's new corporate tax will be required to pay a corporate tax of 9% on earnings exceeding 375,000 dirhams beginning in June 2023. It applies to business that earns more than 375,000 dirhams. Its exemptions are the following government activities, except business activities qualifying businesses in a free zone: investment funds, pension funds, public organizations, personal income from bank deposits, gains on foreign exchange dividends, savings programs, working residence salaries. 3. Emiratization target. UAE is a civilized nation that cares about its citizens. They make laws for their locals to provide a good standard of living. The UAE encourages citizens to have a bigger say in the development of the private sector, which is a fundamental driver of economic growth. The government is implementing a policy to ensure that 10% of employees in the private sector are Emirati by 2026. The Emiratization movement is gaining ground. Private businesses with more than 50 employees must ensure that 2% of their workforce is Emirati by January 1, 2023. Penalty? Employers that fail to meet the 2% quota by the end of the year will be fined 72,000 dirhams, $19,602, in January for each Emirati employee they would not hire, the equivalent of 6,000 dirhams for every month of this year. Now we discuss its exemption. Despite being encouraged to hire Emiratis, companies registered in free zones are exempt from the new law. Ban on plastic bags. According to College News, the Emirates of Al-Quwain and Ajman will implement a ban on single-use plastics in January 2023, which is excellent news for the local environment. Businesses and supermarkets will be required to charge customers 25 fees for each plastic bag beginning next year. To reduce the use and disposal of plastic, sales outlets in Dubai, Sharjah, and Abu Dhabi currently charge a 25 fees tax for single-use shopping bags. Amendments in family law. The following are some changes that have been made to family law. 1. Matrimonial rights for non-Muslims in UAE. From February 1, the civil family court system in Abu Dhabi, which allows non-Muslim couples to divorce and wed in a non-Sharia legal process, will be replicated nationwide. Marriage, divorce, inheritance, and child custody are all protected by federal law for non-Muslim expats, as revealed earlier this month. 1. Non-Sharia divorce process. Previously, a Sharia-based procedure was followed by a couple seeking a divorce in a local court. This is very different from what they might be used to in their country of origin. Instead, many chose to marry, divorce, or make a will in another country. 1. Mutual consent. Non-Muslim couples can now marry based on the will of both the husband and wife, which means that authorization from the wife's father or guardian is no longer required. Consequences. It is clear from the above discussion that the United Arab Emirates is already a civilized nation. However, they are working to make further changes to their laws to make them more flexible and convenient for both locals and expats. They are implementing changes to improve the environment. Policies are being developed by the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization, MORA. To meet the needs of UAE employees without jobs, the federal government is enacting legislation. The UAE already has a profitable industry. By imposing the corporate tax, they are increasing government revenue even further. Additionally, it hopes that the introduction of a corporate tax will assist it in achieving its strategic objectives and accelerate its development and transformation. It also supports business transparency. In addition, implementing the Emiratization target entails improving citizens' well-being. In addition to this, the government has introduced a non-Sharia procedure of divorce for non-Muslims and trying to be giving the potential living standard to expats as well.